before I go to Sanju Verma with the question that Syed Asad Abbas asked, I have to get one quick comment from Kartikeya. Kartikeya, we are discussing, because you took the question on discrimination and you mentioned positive discrimination, negative discrimination, etc. What's the experience really in countries like the United States, from where you are joining us in this broadcast, about, for example, having a uniformity of laws, about, for example, taking care of those who are persecuted, and in that sense, do we have some lessons from there?
Yeah, exactly, Abhishek. I referred to one point that Atiq bhai mentioned, about one nation, one family. Of course, that is the principle of the Modi government. But when you think of who to integrate in the nation, a nation has limited resources. It has finite resources. It has limited, budgetary allocations. It has obviously to take care of its own citizens first, and then it has to decide who to prioritize when coming in. So not everyone can be invited into India, for that matter. So let me get that out of the way. Now, secondly, in the US, for example, there is an exactly identical law like CAA called Lautenberg Amendment. That law was put in place essentially exactly with this purpose, to fast track immigration benefit to specific persecuted people from Eastern Europe, and those are Orthodox Christians and other groups, because they were persecuted at that point of time, which is why their immigration benefits as refugees were expedited. Now, that did not mean that anyone else could not get any benefit at all. They could get benefit under the existing laws, but there was another law passed effectively to give specific fast-track benefits to these people. That's exactly what CAA does. It does not discriminate at all. It does not render anyone worse off. What is discrimination? Discrimination means that I render someone else worse off than they were. This does not even do that. This effectively recognizes that, yes, in India has Hindu civilizational roots. Now, obviously, we may have a disagreement on that, but if you think about it from thousands of years back, it has civilizational roots.
No, there is no disagreement that India has Hindu civilizational roots.
Where else do these Hindus, Indic religions, where do they go if they are persecuted? At least Muslims have several Islamic countries all over Middle East and Asia. Where do Hindus go? India is really the only country where they can actually feel safe.
Okay, quickly, like Atiq Rehman gets to respond to that before I go to Sanju Verma. You have raised a very important point. Atiq Rehman, this question, that those following Indic faiths, the original Indic civilizational faiths have nowhere else to go, while the Muslims actually have a lot of options, 57 countries to be precise.
Exactly, and Abhishek,
even Christians are included in CAA, by the way. Even why should a Muslim only go to a Muslim country?
Remember,
why not a secular country?
In Pakistan, she could get citizenship in India under CAA, by the way, because she's Christian. So let's not fool anyone here. It's not just about Hindus. There's also Christians.
Okay.
Okay, understood. Between Atiq Rehman and Kartikeya, the conversation is now veered towards secularism. I will come to you, Sanju. The debate has veered towards secularism. Thankfully, that's where I wanted it to go. So, because another BJP leader, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, has said that the Uniform Civil Code is in the offing in the state, Anirban.
Abhishek, I have a single question for Kartik.
If you are a proponent of secularism...
A single question. Abhishek, a single...
No, I am asking you a question. If you are a proponent of secularism, and as Kartikeya says that there is uniformity of laws in his jurisdiction where he is in the United States, so I am told in Germany, so I am told in the United Kingdom, so I am told in many other countries, including, for example, in Turkey, where despite a Islamist leader like Erdogan in power for 20 years, the age of marriage is 18 years for both genders. It's not guided by the Sharia. Anirban, do you agree that for the sake of secularism, Uniform Civil Code is a legitimate law, is a good law?
Okay, first of all, for the Uniform Civil Code, there has to be an endeavor for consensus. That is written in our constitution. There has to be endeavor, it cannot be forced. There has to be a social consensus before the UCC is brought in. That is a constitutional standard.
Kabhi to karenge na. 75 years now.
That is number one. There, of course, endeavor. Please let the government hold talks with all the social groups all over the country. Let them reach a consensus point. Then implement the UCC. I have no problems with that. But you cannot force it upon everyone before consensus is reached. That is number one. Number two, my question to Mr. Karthikeya
Okay,
is,
I got your point.
Sir,
Good that you made that point. I will take this to Sanju Verma. Last word from Bilal Sabzwari before I give the last word to Sanju Verma. Second last word to Bilal Sabzwari, because I have to end the conversation in 4 minutes. Bilal Sabzwari, you know the kind of fear mongering that happened during the CAA protests, part of which is shared by Syed Asad Abbas even now, that if it's connected with NRC, there is going to be trouble. When a clear
my turn.
clarification comes from the government, are you going to trust it that nobody loses citizenship because of CAA?
The debate I was carefully watching. The problem is that there is a misconception amongst the people regarding the CAA and NRC. See, so far as the CAA is concerned, so it is, this law is not at all against any community or any section of the society. But if you club it with the NRC, then its dynamics entirely different. And so far as an idea of the NRC,
okay, understood,
was taken from the Assam.
Abhishek.
So, but government of India did not implement it in Assam because it was backfiring the majority of people. It was backfiring the Hindus. So that's why the government of India.
That's the same fear that Syed Asad Abbas has raised. So I am giving the second last word to Sanju. For the last word, I'll go to Rehman. Sanju Verma. You see, though, of course, I must clarify to Syed Asad Abbas and Bilal Saab that NRC has its origin in the 2003 amendment in the Citizenship Act. It was backed by the Congress at that time and the left also. NRC, remember. But then I will let Sanju Verma answer this. The fear, Sanju Verma, is, and let me put exact words to the fears of Syed Asad Abbas and Bilal, and perhaps Atiq or Rehman also. What CAA does is, Sanju Verma, that it provides a shield to non-Muslim migrants once the NRC becomes operative, right? Taken together. So because of the protection of CAA, the non-Muslim migrants to the country get away, get protection, but the Muslims won't. That's the fear.
Okay.
So essentially, Syed Asad Abbas, of course, he does not fear about his citizenship. Bilal Sabzwari or Atiq or Rehman, they fear about the Muslim followers of their faith who might have come from Bangladesh or Rohingyas, but then they possibly lose because of CAA and NRC coming together. Sanju Verma.
You know, Abhishek, let's cross the NRC bridge when we come to it, but I have written exhaustively on both CAA and NRC, and I just have to tell you this, that India is not obliged to take Rohingya refugees. And you know, I'm talking about Rohingyas point blank because remember, this argument has been given time and again. You know, why can't you moderate the debate, Abhishek?
Please answer the question.
Anirban, don't interrupt. I'm left with only 1 minute. Sanju Verma, please don't get distracted by him and complete.
No, I don't want this background music. I don't want this background music when I'm making a relevant
Just answer the CAA NRC conundrum, Sanju, for the benefit of everyone here.
Okay. You know, let me tell you.
No, she's answering. Please give her time. Sanju Verma, you get time to answer the CAA NRC conundrum.
Yeah.
She does not have an answer.
Let's be very clear.
She does not have any answer.
Under Article 44 of the Constitution, under Article 44, which speaks about directive principles of the state policy, the Constitution clearly says that the state, as in the Indian state, shall endeavor to provide a uniform civil code to all its citizens within the territory of India. So if you believe in Article 44,
and the time is
if you
now.
believe in the directive principles of state
Okay,
policy,
Sanju Verma,
if you believe in the
I
Indian
have quick
Constitution,
20 seconds
you
to
should
Raman
believe in
Ikman
the
because
CAA.
Manmohan Singh, while participating in the same 2003 debate on the Citizenship Amendment Act, actually said that refugees belonging to the minority communities in Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan should get a favor treatment because of the kind of persecution they face. Raman Ikman, the time has come now. Do you agree that we should go ahead with it, irrespective of the opposition, protest, etc.?
Let me structure my argument very correctly.
20 seconds.
Sikhs, hear me out. Hindus, Sikhs, Bauds, Jains, Parsis, now left in Pakistan, all of them had contributed for the independence of a united India. Unfortunately, Pakistan happened and they are left in Pakistan today. Where do they go? Where do they go if they are prosecuted on the basis of their religion? Where do they go?
That's what. That's why the CAA has been brought in, and irrespective of the fears, the protests, the opposition, I think I am personally of the opinion that the government perhaps delayed it for whatever reasons. It should not have waited so long. It's high time the government comes in with the rules of the CAA. On that note, thank you so much, Sanju Verma, Ramnik Man, Kartike Tanna, Atiq Rehman, Anirban, Syed Asad Abbas and Bilal Sazwari for joining us. Thank you so much, viewers, also. And we still need a short break. Live and Breaking continues. The debate is back tomorrow evening, 9 p.m.